A Taoist immortal, been through the Rainbow Ninja's portal. I've been learning the same lessons on a different path life taught you. I've been everything that you've been, I've been crazy, I've been rhyming. Accept the version of you that is mighty and is shining. Accept the version of you that is mighty and is shining. Accept the version of you that is mighty and is shining. I'd like to share some words from Charles Eisenstein from The Coronation, an essay about COVID-19. For years, normality has been stretched nearly to its breaking point, a rope pulled tighter and tighter, waiting for a nip of the black swan's beak to snap it in two. Now that the rope has snapped, do we tie its ends back together, or shall we undo its dangling braids still further to see what we might weave from them? COVID-19 is showing us that when humanity is united in common cause, phenomenally rapid change is possible. None of the world's problems are technically difficult to solve. They originate in human disagreement. In coherency, humanity's creative powers are boundless. A few months ago, a proposal to halt commercial air travel would have seemed preposterous. Likewise for the radical changes we are making in our social behaviour, economy, and the role of government in our lives. COVID demonstrates the power of our collective will when we agree on what is important. What else might we achieve in coherency? What do we want to achieve? And what world shall we create? That is always the next question when anyone awakens to their power. COVID-19 is like a rehab intervention that breaks the addictive hold of normality. Now I'd like to share some words from Naomi Klein in The Guardian on how big tech plans to profit from the pandemic. It has taken some time to gel, but something resembling a coherent pandemic shock doctrine is beginning to emerge. Call it the Screen New Deal. Far more high-tech than anything we have seen during previous disasters, the future that is being rushed into being as the bodies still pile up treats our past weeks of physical isolation not as a painful necessity to save lives, but as a living laboratory for a permanent and highly profitable no-touch future. We face real and hard choices between investing in humans and investing in technology. Because the brutal truth is that, as it stands, we are very unlikely to do both. The refusal to transfer anything like the needed resources to states and cities in successive federal bailouts means that the coronavirus health crisis is now slamming headlong into a manufactured austerity crisis. Public schools, universities, hospitals and transit are facing existential questions about their futures. If tech companies win their ferocious lobbying campaign for remote learning, telehealth, 5G and driverless vehicles, their Screen New Deal, there simply won't be any money left over for urgent public priorities, never mind the Green New Deal that our planet urgently needs. On the contrary, the price tag for all the shiny gadgets will be mass teacher layoffs and hospital closures. I suspect that life gets better when you just accept, but with all due respect, quiet as kept. I'm still working on that bit. Fascist Capitalist? Nah, I don't like that We're all doing the best we can at this level of awareness. We're each at, kids. I suspect that life gets better when you just accept, but with all due respect, quiet as kept. I'm still working on that bit. Fascist Capitalist? No, I don't like that We're all doing the best we can at this level of awareness. We're each at, kids. They wanna be kings of the new world order, but we're kings and queens of universes. We're microchipping your daughters, not on the agenda. No contract, return to sender. Love will render your magic useless. Surrender, it's about time some Googled eugenics. You said it, but who owns Facebook, Google and YouTube when you choose to send it? Your law I rewrite or bend it. I've more than a right to live, and my words are more than enough to defend it. They wanted to be kings of a new age or aura, but we've been kings and queens of a universe of balance between chaos and order. They want to be kings of a new world, but who gave us those orders? I'm already king of my universe, one with God with no borders. Galactic jurisdiction, but beyond the orbit of this moon. Pleiadians and those who hail from Sirius may be with us soon. So I don't fear our Anunnakis, or even American Nazis, or attachment to opinions. So don't ask me, the biggest thing now we fear is our own power here. Ego's already thrown in the towel there. Overstanding power gives wisdom to use it with love. So in any situation we fit like a glove. Even though like most of us I can be socially awkward. Even those of us who raise chin, puff chests out and talk good. On stage I shine, find new heights but higher in solitude. No illusion, clarity, you already got it. They wanna be kings of the new world order, but we're kings and queens of universes. We're microchipping your daughters, not on the agenda. No contract, return to sender. Love will render your magic useless. Surrender, it's about time some Google eugenics. You said it, but who owns Facebook, Google and YouTube when you choose to send it? Your law I rewrite or bend it. I've more than a right to live, and my words are more than enough to defend it. So Obama's team sold arms to Mexican gangs, let's face it. Is the head of the IMF a hotel-made rapist? Banking families finance both sides of world wars. Teenagers worldwide armed to the teeth do world tours. World tours in the army thinking it's for their country, but they're balmy. It's for resources and drug money. World tours with hits in other countries. Hitmen for hire for oil companies. Stone circle meditation gave strength to love those not loving me. Angels walk with me, so they're not touching me. The path I walked was narrow, but now I'm flanked by dead kings from long barrows watching international banks, and dead kings from the hill of Tara in Ireland, whispering magical words of the lamb and the lion man. Can't stop a new world, so I paint my own picture, safe, surrounded by love and nature, wealthy, but you can't take it with you. They want to be kings of a new world order, but we're kings and queens of universes. We're microchipping your daughters, not on the agenda. No contract, return to sender. Love will render your magic useless. Surrender, it's about time some Google eugenics. You said it, but who owns Facebook, Google and YouTube when you choose to send it? Your law I rewrite or bend it. I've more than a right to live, and my words are more than enough to defend it. They want to be kings of a new world order, but we're kings and queens of universes. We're microchipping your daughters, not on the agenda. No contract, return to sender. Love will render your magic useless. Surrender, it's about time some Google eugenics. You said it, but who owns Facebook, Google and YouTube when you choose to send it? My law I rewrite or bend it. Your laws I rewrite or bend it. I've more than a right to live, and my words are more than enough to defend it. Reality's always been perfected, positive and negative, but their reign has ended. So remember the credit crunch in 2008? A bank rescue package totalling 500 billion was announced by the British government on the 8th of October 2008 as a response to the ongoing global financial crisis. After 2 unsteady weeks at the end of September, the first week of October had seen major falls in the stock market and severe worries about the stability of British banks. The plan aimed to restore market confidence and help stabilise the British banking system. Subsequently, broadly similar measures were introduced by the United States and the European Union in response to the financial crisis. Some commentators noted that although under the capitalist model, inefficient private commercial enterprises should be allowed to go bust, the banks were, quote-unquote, too big to fail. Not a single bank chief or chairman went to prison in the UK. That was Wikipedia. Not Alex Jones, not David Icke, just Wikipedia with the facts. 500 billion. So don't tell me immigrants got all the money or welfare recipients got all the money. And don't tell me we need austerity or we can't afford universal basic income, because we don't, and we can. We should repurpose the military to plant trees. We need them more than tanks. It's them politicians and it's them banks. With the hemp industry.
To be honest, these days politics is something I'm bored with. But if you have compassion, it's hard to ignore it. We find people to war with instead of sit down to talk with about how to heal this planet we all share. She's gorgeous. Why not, kids? Profit. But we all have the power together to stop it. I love you all, which means yes, even politicians, you got it. I hope this is the last time I have to speak on the topic. It's the banks and politicians, always been the banks and politicians with the oil and war industries on the same mission. It's them vampires relying on the system, but there's no independent nature, cause we're all one with them. The politicians justify with just lies to devise schemes for their teams. Austerity measures and wars on drugs and terror brings the cream, with the media scaring into selling liberty, freedom streams. But we won't sell our souls to demons in suits, clean, pristine. They say they got no money, always billions for war, but none for welfare or healthcare when millions need it more. Ha! Then blame immigrants. It's awful, kids, all the more since they also blame welfare, and people fall for it. They still believe the news, but who should we believe? Even independent media might deceive, so people please don't get obsessed like I did, or depressed like I did. Conspiracy documentaries and clockwork orange eyelids. If you trust me, then trust me. If you don't, you can judge me. But we're all a little guilty, because most of us needed banks and politicians before we could walk or talk. With the oil and war industries funding it all. It's the banks and politicians, always been the banks and politicians. With oil and war industries ponder same missions, but there's no separation between us and the banks and politicians. Most of us were born into this system. The banks and politicians, always been the banks and politicians with the oil and war industries on the same mission. It's them vampires relying on the system, but there's no independent nature, cause we're all one with them. That's why I dropped out of society before king squatting and plotting. Some said legend, but just a poor activist poet hip hopping. Cause I couldn't justify paying into a system with the friction, fundamentally opposed to capitalism and imperialism. But now I'm fundamentally opposed to nothing, juxtaposed to one with the loving abundance of the universe. If you trust me, then trust me. If you don't, you can judge me. But we're all a little guilty, cause we only need loving. Banks, reform, maybe cryptocurrency. Politicians, ignore. On that you can trust me. Just stop war for resources by replacing the oil industry with the hemp industry. Why is it not, kids? Profit. But we all have the power together to stop it. Why is it not, kids? Profit. But there's no them and us, so let's get together to solve it and evolve it. It's the banks and politicians, with oil and war industries ponder same missions, but there's no separation between us and the banks and politicians. Most of us were born into this system. Banks and politicians, always been the banks and politicians with the oil and war industries on the same missions. It's them vampires relying on the system, but there's no independent nature, cause we're all one with them. Banks, reform, maybe Bitcoin, politicians ignore. On that you can trust me. Just stop war for resources by replacing the oil industry with the hemp industry. Why not, kids? Profit. But we all have the power together to stop it.
Your mind is infinite consciousness. Hegelian dialectic, usually presented in a threefold manner, was stated by Henrik Moritz Challibaus as comprising three dialectical stages of development: a thesis giving rise to its reaction, an antithesis which contradicts or negates the thesis, and the tension between the two being resolved by means of a synthesis. In more simplistic terms, one can consider it thus: problem, reaction, solution. Now, many years ago I wrote a song called Problem, Reaction, Solution, about the way some governments find problems, see the reaction they wish to manipulate, then implement the solution they intended to. And more recently I wrote another song called Problem, Reaction, Peaceful Revolution. You're going to get both of them.
I claim liberty and life. I am freedom, I am love. I'm all the elements, all directions, below and above. I replace their problem, reaction, solution with meditation and a practical revolution. I don't trust the government or corporations to have real solutions, so these suggestions are my contribution. Electoral reform for proportional representation, so green and independent parties can help to fix this nation. Mental health reform, reborn with spiritual ritual and true ceremony as group therapy. Industrial reform, replace oil industry with hemp industry, that's it, which makes carbon neutral biodegradable plastics. Energy reform, replace fossil fuels with renewable energy. We've got the tools. Spiritual reform, replace dogma and superstition with epigenics, quantum physics and experiences of the vision that everything is energy, frequency, vibration, which we can use to heal the bodies and the psyches in this nation, and beyond, all is love. Word is bond, arms stretched, white swan, wingspan, bird in pond. Financial reform, universal basic income might be absolutely necessary. Well, what do you think, son? Could we put less emphasis on GDP, but gross national happiness is my philosophy like BDP? Can we replace problem, reaction, solution with problem, reaction, revolution? If you don't trust the government or corporation solutions, can we make a better contribution? Yeah, I claim liberty and life. I am freedom, I am love. I'm all the elements, all directions, below and above. We'll replace their problem, reaction, solution with mental and emotional evolution and practical revolution. We replace problem, reaction, solution with problem, reaction, peaceful revolution. We replace problem, reaction, solution with problem, reaction, peaceful revolution. Oh, 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 oh. Can we replace their problem, reaction, solution with problem, reaction, peaceful revolution? If we don't trust the government or corporation solutions, can we make a better contribution? Yeah, I claim liberty and life. I am freedom, I am love. I'm all of the elements, all directions, below and above. We'll replace their problem, reaction, solution with mental and emotional evolution and practical revolution. We'll replace their problem, reaction, solution with problem, reaction, peaceful revolution.
I just don't understand how people still fall for the scam. I just don't get it. Thieving banks disrespected whole populations while stealing from their nations. Maybe it's time to start again. New civilizations, new priorities for new civilizations. Maybe it's time to start again. New civilizations, new priorities for new civilizations. An educated police force may arrest the politicians. An educated military may arrest the bankers. An uneducated population calls us idealistic. An educated population might just thank us. An educated police force may arrest the politicians. An educated military may arrest the bankers. An uneducated population calls us idealistic. An educated population might just thank us. Some days I want to walk into the House of Parliament with a megaphone and an axe. Feel like the axe is just a pop, some of these sorts, now just relax. Now let's discuss Tibet, Palestine, arms deals and bedroom tax. Let's wait for the TV crews before I list the embarrassing facts. Why do we support Israel's human rights atrocities, but not human rights atrocities committed by our financial rivals? I hope you're listening properly. Why do our taxes consistently get paid on bombing these brown children? Do you think they'll accept democracy only after we kill them? Will we still spend more on the military than our schools until then? If you're too intellectual for Alex Jones, read some Noam Chomsky and chill then. But if we try to arrest these politicians, the police will just arrest us. Footage of thugs in uniforms arresting peaceful protesters oppress us. An educated police force would arrest the politicians. An educated military would arrest the bankers. An uneducated population calls us idealistic. An educated population would just thank us. I'm just not sure I understand, but I hope I've made a mistake somewhere. It can't just be a scam. Did the banks put whole nations in debt? But if that's true, if all the countries are in debt to who? Central banks. But if I say Rothschilds, they say conspiracy theory behind smug smiles. Did the banks put nations in ransom, then get politicians to get the taxpayers to pay off the debt with blood, tears and sweat? I just don't get it. This isn't a joke, is it? I just don't understand how people still fall for the scam. I just don't get it. Leaving banks disrespected whole populations while stealing from their nations. Maybe it's time to start again. New civilizations, new priorities for new civilizations. Maybe it's time to start again. New civilizations, new priorities for new civilizations. An educated police force may arrest the politicians. An educated military may arrest the bankers. An uneducated population calls us idealistic. An educated population might just thank us. An educated police force may arrest the politicians. An educated military may arrest the bankers. An uneducated population calls us idealistic. An educated population might just thank us. Let's not forget the bankers' bonuses. I bet they laugh when they sell us loans to live. Then the same politicians tell us we have to go into austerity measures, like community centres, shelters and benefits are just ledgers. We don't need austerity measures to save money. We need companies to pay the billions of tax they owe, sonny. We need international banks to put money back into the system. Or we need to arrest these bankers and arrest their politicians. An uneducated population calls them conspiracy theories. Noam Chomsky lists a long bunch of conspiracy facts. Told the soldiers and policemen that politicians robbed them too, and bought second homes and bombs with what was left after tax. So politicians claim we need austerity measures. Why? To save the country's money? While corporations evade billions of tax and banks make billions of pounds. If all people didn't get their heating cut off, it would almost be funny. And people still fall for it, debating the budget in lying newspapers. I mean, these MPs must just love it. They know better than most of us. Politics is just a farce. Activists fall for divide and conquer with a war in class. Tony Blair took a left-wing party and made it right-wing kids. Lib Dems found a right-wing party for siding with it. Debates about money with no mention of banking scandals. I get less truth from news and newspapers than I do from so-called vandals. The writing's on the wall, you can't lie to us all. I'm not advocating riots, but when we hear the call, Babylon is just a state of mind, but we'll still watch it fall. Babylon is just a state of mind, but we'll still watch it fall. I just don't get it, this isn't a joke, is it? I just don't understand how people still fall for the scam. I just don't get it, thieving banks disrespected whole populations while stealing from their nations. Maybe it's time to start again. New civilizations, new priorities for new civilizations. Maybe it's time to start again. New civilizations, new priorities for new civilizations. An educated police force may arrest the politicians. An educated military may arrest the bankers. An uneducated population calls us idealistic. An educated population might just thank us. An educated police force may arrest the politicians. An educated military may arrest the bankers. An uneducated population calls us idealistic. An educated population might just thank us. Take the power to choose back. It's about time I grew food that Monsanto ain't abused, chat. Erect solar panels, wind generators, make alternative media. Don't take the BS that they're feeding you or go down the line they're leading you. They want central bank, central government, they'll want a central king. So it's probably a good idea to decentralize everything. They want to control the money. If you want to control people, that's clever. But most can't imagine abolishing money altogether. They're scared of Bitcoin. What about the Bristol pound? What about money backed by gold? Poor Gaddafi, what's that sound? Govern ourselves, why not? I know lots of honest people, but no honest politicians, so why are we not treated equal? I'm no freedom fighter or leader, I don't have that credential. Quote Kingsley, industrialized shadows of their potential, sacrificing their own beings to global pyramid schemes. I dropped out of society once before and lived some of my dreams. Now I refuse to be marginalized, I accept realities I once despised. I reach more people with a message to open their eyes. Rage against the evil empire, quick preaching to the choir. Write subversive literature and mail it to politicians, peeps as well. Even tell the EDL that the UK advertised jobs to the Caribbean in the 40s and 50s when there were more jobs than people here as well. This is just a point of view of perception. They all have uses, but I refuse to view with my head in the sand to human rights abuses. But I choose to focus on solutions rather than wallow in depression. Share information, inspiration, blessings in the lesson. An uneducated population say I'm just a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. A police and military educated in the nature of the mind would know they live for the benefit of all mankind. An uneducated population lives the old civilization. Do what you like, but I envision a new one.
I would like to end with some last words from Charles Eisenstein, from his coronation essay about COVID-19. Novel RNA codes are spreading from human to human, imbuing us with genetic information. At the same time, we are receiving other esoteric codes that ride the back of the biological ones, disrupting our narratives and systems in the same way that an illness disrupts bodily physiology. The phenomenon follows the template of initiation, separation from normality, followed by a dilemma, breakdown or ordeal, followed, if it is to be complete, by reintegration and celebration. Now the question arises, initiation into what? What is the specific nature and purpose of this initiation? The popular name for the pandemic offers a clue. Coronavirus. A corona is a crown. Novel coronavirus pandemic means a new coronation for all. Already we can feel the power of who we might become. A true sovereign does not run in fear from life or from death. A true sovereign does not dominate and conquer. That is a shadow archetype, the tyrant. The true sovereign serves the people, serves life and respects the sovereignty of all people. The coronation marks the emergence of the unconscious into consciousness, the crystallization of chaos into order, the transcendence of compulsion into choice. We become the rulers of that which had ruled us. The New World Order that the conspiracy theorists fear is a shadow of the glorious possibility available to sovereign beings. No longer the vassals of fear, we can bring order to the kingdom and build an intentional society on the love already shining through the cracks of the world of separation. Now I'd like to share just some last words on prophecy. There's the rainbow prophecy of people of all colours coming together to help save Mother Earth, and that some of these people will be reincarnations of the Native Americans who were murdered by the white invaders, and sometimes reincarnated in the children, grandchildren, descendants of those invaders. There's the Hopi prophecy. You have been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell people that this is the hour. This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so fast and so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel that they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above water. And I say, see who is in there with you, and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. And there's and that's just an extract of the prophecy, it goes on longer. And there's the Shambhala warrior prophecy of a Tibetan tradition, prophecy of warriors, open-hearted, armed with love, broken-hearted, specifically, broken-hearted warriors, armed with love, creating an enlightened society. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. Let's co-create our dream. Novus Ordo Seclorum, the prophecy of the Sibylline. Novus Ordo Seclorum is ours. What shall our new world order consist of. Love.